On December 19th, 1997, the movie Titanic was released in theaters and soon became a blockbuster hit. But did you know these 10 things about the movie? If you look closely, you will notice that most of the shots of the Titanic are of the starboard side. But wait, what about the scene at the docks? Production made the decision to only build the starboard side of the ship for exterior shots so that the smoke on the smokestacks would flow as if the ship was moving forward. However, historically, the Titanic boarded the Southampton passengers on the port side, not the starboard. So, in order to maintain accuracy, they filmed the scene and flipped the image in post, making sure that when they built the set, everything was flipped, from signs to buttons on the clothes. Although, it seems they missed one tiny piece. The mole on Kate Winslet's face. They might have hoped no one would notice, especially since VHS copies were hard to pause and get a clear picture back then. But with today's media capabilities, it's hard to miss. About 2.5 hours into the movie, we see an elderly couple hugging in bed as their rooms fill with water. This couple was meant to represent Ida and Isidore Straus, owners of the New York Macy's department store. This would have stood out more, but the scene where Ida declines a lifeboat to stay with her husband was cut out of the final movie.
And where you go, I go. Don't argue with me, Isidore.
Jack may not be a jack of all trades, especially drawing. Because in the "draw me like one of your French girls" scene, the hands drawing Kate Winslet were not Leonardo DiCaprio's. They were actually director James Cameron's, as he happens to be a very talented artist. A lot of his great work can be seen here in a book called Tech Noir, The Art of James Cameron. Some may say that the Titanic movie almost feels like two movies, one in the present and one in the past. Reportedly, the scenes in 1912 in the movie have a length of 2 hours and 42 minutes, which is the exact time it took for the Titanic to sink. Another side fact to note is that the collision with the iceberg is noted to have lasted 37 seconds, which is how long the collision lasts in the movie. James Cameron was so dedicated to filming Titanic that he himself went on 12 dives to the real ship's wreckage and was overwhelmed with emotion to experience the actual sunken ship. It is said that he spent more time with the ship than the living passengers did back in 1912. James Cameron even went above and beyond by having a deep-sea camera developed capable of withstanding the intense underwater pressure to capture the real wreckage that is seen in the final movie. After the 1997 movie's release, Cameron would once again return to the wreckage to begin filming a documentary about the Titanic called Ghosts of the Abyss, which was released in IMAX and 3D in 2003. In 1912, the ship cost 1.5 million British pounds. Adjusted for 1997 currency, that's an equivalent of 94 million pounds, which in dollars is $103 million. In 1997, the movie cost $200 million, which is basically twice as much as the ship cost to build. Titanic was the most expensive movie to be made before the year 2000, and even adjusted for 2022 dollars, that $200 million budget equals about $369 million now. Still keeping it up there on the list of most expensive Hollywood movies ever made. And it paid off because Titanic became the highest grossing film in history, making over $2 billion, until it was later dethroned by Avatar in 2009. When Jack boards the Titanic, he isn't alone. His good friend Fabrizio boards with him, but in the final film, we don't really see much of him after they board. Fabrizio was supposed to get his own storyline with a girl that he meets on the ship named Helga, but those scenes ended up getting cut out. You can still catch glimpses of some of the scenes where she dances with Fabrizio during the third-class party that Rose and Jack go to, and in the scene where the ship is going down, this is possibly her as well. In the movie, we see 4 smokestack funnels on the ship. And yes, it's true, the real ship also had 4, but only 3 of them were functional. Even though large ocean liners at the time usually had 4 funnels, the Titanic had been built with more advanced engineering to where it only needed 3. The 4th one was added for aesthetic purposes. It's no exaggeration that Titanic was a huge hit as it quickly climbed the #1 movie in America and remained #1 in theaters for 15 consecutive weeks, nearly breaking the record with E.T. the Extraterrestrial being #1 for the 16 consecutive week streak back in 1982. Titanic was also in theaters for a very long time. Reportedly, some theaters kept playing the film for 9 months to a year, even after the VHS tape had been released on September 1st, 1998. There was an alternate ending where Rose and the others on the research boat try to persuade her from throwing the heart of the ocean into the sea, but she ends up tossing it anyway. Personally, I think the Verizon Super Pages ad would have been a better alternate ending, but I think we can agree that the ending that made the final cut was just fine. Do you have any other facts or trivia about the movie Titanic? Share with us in the comments and let us know if you'd like more videos like this one by hitting the like button and clicking that subscribe button if you haven't already. Don't forget to check out some of our other nostalgic videos here on RetroNeedy.